Hey, y'all, listen. It's Tuesday night. It's Trending Topics. It's December the 16th. We are inching closer and closer and closer and closer to Christmas for those that celebrate. And I can't wait. I'm excited about it. I'm happy, for the upcoming holiday. But listen, people, in the meantime, in between time, we got stuff to do. It's Tuesday night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is Justice, Grief, and Accountability. Justice, grief, and accountability. Well, very sad. A toddler hot tub death. A toddler hot tub death. So this dad, they was at an Airbnb, I guess, like a rental. He was there and he had his little daughter and he was drinking. Listen, I have no judgment, but I think we all got our vices. But I'm very happy that drinking and taking substances is not one of mine. To God be the glory. He admitted he was in the hot tub holding his daughter. He admitted that before getting in the hot tub, he had a little something to drink. He admitted before getting in the hot tub, he took a little something. What that something was, I don't know. He claimed he passed out for like 15 to 20 minutes. Little mama must have slipped out his hands when he fell asleep and she drowned. Now he's facing charges. Why would you drink and then, you took something and then you get in a hot tub with the little girl? I don't know. People just don't be thinking. And now here we are. You behind bars. No, you didn't mean to take her life. Your daughter's gone. The family's suffering twice. The loss of the daughter and pretty much the loss of you. Because you behind bars. We're going to have a discussion about it. And then we're going to have a discussion about people in their greed and their greed for money. We had 3 family members living together. 2 of the family members are their family by being a couple, I want to say. But either way, 3 family members, 1 family member died. They lived in the house with the dead body so they could continue to collect the dead person's Social Security checks. It got so bad, the smell got so bad, the neighbors started to smell it. They did a wellness check, and because another family member or friend came over to feed him, the family member that they haven't saw in a while, and felt the body was cold. When the cops got there, they said he'd been dead for a long time. You cashing a dead family member's Social Security checks? Well, they looking for the couple because they on the run right now. Disgraceful. And then we got the Matthew Perry case. One of the doctors got 30 months in jail. And another one of the doctors, this is the Matthew Perry, remember the fentanyl, he OD, doctors were involved. So they all pled guilty. One got 30 months. This other one, he got home arrest. I don't understand how he got home arrest. And you got to do some community service. A man is gone. You a whole doctor that took an oath to do right by patients. You kill a patient and you get to go home on home arrest. I don't even think they call it home arrest because from what I saw, I don't think he got an ankle bracelet on. You got to make the justice system make sense because it don't make sense. But listen, people. I ain't going to hold y'all up long. We doing this fresh trains, okay? We getting in and we getting out. So y'all know what time it is, okay? Because I want to bring the people on in the building. I need to what in the chat? I need a choo-choo Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Justice, Grief, and Accountability. The toddler loses her life in the hot tub because daddy was drunk and high. We got a PA fraud manhunt, and we got Matthew Perry, a doctor, getting to chill at home, and he took somebody's life. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Hey, chat. Choo choo.
Hey,
Hey, everybody, hit the like button.
Hit the like button, people. I'm going to go ahead and start with this hot tub story. I'm very sad. I got to be honest with you. I do feel for the father, but I don't feel for him that much because he shouldn't have been drinking and taking other stuff. But let's take a listen.
Is dead and her father is in jail after investigators say she drowned in a hot tub at a vacation rental in Kissimmee. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Nancy Alvarez.
And I'm Stuart Moore. That family was visiting from Washington, D.C. West 3 Spencer Tracy is live at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office with the latest. And Spencer, you spoke exclusively with the little girl's family.
And Stuart, as you can imagine, this family was absolutely devastated to hear this, and now they're grieving the loss of that beautiful one-year-old girl. They are calling this a freak accident, while the sheriff's office says this was a series of decisions that could have been a preventable tragedy.
She's gonna be missed. She's gonna be very, very missed. Seeing her little butt running around. It's almost Christmas.
A family in mourning and in complete shock following the death of one-year-old Azaria Huff. Osceola County investigators say she drowned in a hot tub at this Kissimmee vacation rental.
It's very hard. Losing a niece in that way is very hard. And then I'm very hurt for my brother because he is just distraught. He is tore up.
Her father, 33-year-old Renard Tyrone Huff, told detectives he'd been drinking and was holding his daughter in the hot tub when he fell asleep for 15 to 20 minutes. Deputies say the toddler was pulled from the water just after 3:30 Sunday morning unresponsive. We spoke with Huff's mom and two siblings who tell me he was visiting from Washington, D.C.
He's hurting real bad and he needs to be back here with us.
The child was seen by the medical examiner who was able to determine the cause of death in this case was related to the drowning.
Huff went before a judge Monday afternoon where he is charged with aggravated manslaughter. Detectives say Huff admitted alcohol may have contributed to him falling asleep and that he had also ingested 2 different narcotics before getting into the hot tub.
Children in water can be so dangerous, and the parent's job is to make sure that all eyes are on them, focused, not under the influence, so that they can keep their kids safe.
The arrest report states he attempted CPR in the backyard while the child's mother inside the home called for help. Investigators say he could not explain why he took a 1-year-old child who could not swim into a 37-inch deep hot tub late at night.
We feel bad for this mom and dad. We know they were devastated. They had another 6-month-old child there in the room with mom that she was trying to put down. So we know that watching 2 small kids is a challenge.
And we know today that the judge set no bond for Huff, and he will remain in the Osceola County Jail. His next court hearing is scheduled for this Friday. We'll continue to follow this and bring you the latest on this tragedy. I'm covering Osceola County, live in Kissimmee. Spencer Tracy, West 2 News.
Very sad. In my opinion, your thoughts? In my opinion, you sounding robotic. Is that just me, y'all? Yeah, she sounded robotic.
Yeah, she sounded robotic on my end.
She's fine.
Okay. Julius, your thoughts?
This situation is sad.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, this guy knows better. You know you shouldn't have had yourself a little something to drink, and you shouldn't have took those substances because you had your baby with you. Common sense 101. Like, are we just throwing it out the window here? Like, that's what I'm hearing with all these stories. Common sense 101. That should, yeah.
Yeah. Savannah, your thoughts?
So my first question was going to be, where were the other adults in this rental? But mom was inside with another infant. She was
Mhm.
putting down a 6-month-old, so they had two babies. And
Mm.
yes, I agree, this was a series of bad decisions that this father made, putting his child in in jeopardy. I mean, I don't understand why you would take a baby into a hot tub. I
Mm.
also think I've said this before, because I have friends and family members who have children who do not know how to swim. And when we get these Airbnbs or bookings.com and they have these pools, especially in Florida, they have to make a conscious decision to make sure that these pools and areas are gated and shielded from babies. Although I understand the story that he took the child into the hot tub, but the homeowner also runs a risk of being careless or negligent when something like this happens, especially in Florida. I know my mom, before her passing, she thought about Airbnb, but because she has a pool in her backyard, there's extra waivers and insurances that you need to have, so she never did it. Thank goodness, because I think it's more of a headache than it is to. But people that come from the north, that's the first thing they look for, is homes that are near the water or have some type of water entertainment. So teach your babies how to swim. Babies can learn as young as 3 months old. My daughter is a swim instructor. She's been one since the age of 16. And it freaks me out when I see her training babies, infants, how to swim. But she is certified and excellent at it. Um,
Mm.
and I think we all, and I don't think it's just about race or color or not. I think we all should learning how to swim and getting rid of that fear of water is so necessary, especially in children. Um, it's unfortunate. I feel for him. I really do think this was a mistake.
Yeah.
Just a series of bad decisions that he made, and he's going to have to pay penalty for, unfortunately.
Mm. I feel for him, but where I lose a little bit is the fact that you were drinking, you were high, and you fell asleep. I don't even know how he survived and not drowned himself. Do you know what I mean? And you fell asleep. I don't know. This is just it's terrible. I will say that. Let me share a screen so that I can just give a little bit more information, and I'm coming to you in my opinion. So father falls asleep in Airbnb hot tub with toddler daughter in his arm, wakes up to find that she drowned, and that is him. So a Washington, D.C. man is in a Florida jail after his toddler daughter drowned in his arms in a hot tub while they were on vacation and staying at an Airbnb, cops say. Deputies with the Ocala County Sheriff's Office responded just after 3:30 a.m. Saturday to a home off Nice Court in Kissimmee for a report of an unresponsive child who apparently drowned. Paramedics rushed the 20-month-old girl to a hospital where she died about an hour later. According to a probable cause arrest affidavit, detectives interviewed the 33-year-old father, Renard Tyrone Huck, who admitted he had been drinking and ingested 2 different types of unknown narcotics during the night. Sometime between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., Huck told detectives in a post-Miranda interview he entered the master bedroom where he saw the girl's mother and an infant asleep. He said he noticed the toddler was awake and wanted to be with him. So he grabbed her and went outside to the backyard hot tub. He allegedly said he was holding his daughter in his arms when he fell asleep for roughly 20 minutes. He woke up when he felt the girl's head drop. The suspect said he immediately knew something was wrong because she felt limp, cops wrote. So I wonder, how did she drown still in his arms? He ran inside to alert the girl's mother, but did not mention they were in the hot tub, and she may have drowned, according to the affidavit. The mother called the cops and paramedics, who responded to the home to find the girl foaming at the mouth and unresponsive, the complaint said. Hold on one second, guys. He was unable to provide any reasonable explanation as to why he took his 1-year-old child, who could not swim, into a hot tub outside the residence with a depth of approximately 37 inches at approximately 0300 hours, when the weather was approximately 55 degrees Fahrenheit, while he was feeling like he was coming off of the effects of alcohol, cops wrote. He had been vacationing at the Airbnb home with his family. He's facing charges of aggravated manslaughter of a child and child neglect with great bodily harm. The suspect is in the county jail without bond. This story is just nasty and messy.
So Diva, it was cold too?
That's what they saying.
55 degrees in Florida and in weather, that's cold. So that's even more careless.
Yeah, this is bad. This is very bad. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So as a parent, your first duty is to make sure your kids are safe.
Yeah.
I really don't have no sympathy for them.
Mm.
I don't, because you can't be intoxicated and under the influences of any kind of substance and think it's okay to put a kid in a hot tub with you.
Mm.
Nobody in their right mind has ever done that, and it turned out okay. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, at that, I just can't see. And even if the temperature was 50, because it had probably was lower than that, because I'm in the South and we've been getting these cold weather here lately. But even if it was 50, that's way too cold for a 20-month-old. That baby ain't even 2 yet.
Mm.
To be exposed to that kind of weather and be in a hot tub. So now this baby is wet and dealing with 2 different temperatures. Her body at the top is cold, her body at the bottom is warm.
Mm.
You know, you gotta care about your children. You do. You have to love them more than you love whatever your devices is.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, all he was thinking about himself.
Mm.
What he wanted to do. He said she wanted to be with him. And evidently he wanted to be in the hot tub.
Mm.
He cared more about himself than this baby. And so now you're gonna get what you get. I don't feel no sympathy.
Good gosh. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, panel chat. I totally agree with, in my opinion, I don't feel bad for him at all. I feel like when you are a parent, it's just certain things that you can't do when you are in the company of your children. And doing drugs and drinking to the obscene amount that he passed out in a hot tub, that's just insane. And even if it is an accident, his accident paid the ultimate, sacrifice, his child. And they shouldn't be lenient on him. Not to me. I don't think he should get life either. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that he should get some kind of punishment because and made an example. People need to be more responsible. Like, I just don't get it. Even if just so negligent and it's sick.
It is. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. Um, yeah, this at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
Why you just leave the baby in there with the mama?
Mm-hmm.
And if you knew you was gonna take something and drink something, because that stuff can hit you pretty quick, faster than what you thought it was. You probably, went to sleep real fast and not knowing. But then again, you say the baby was in his arms. So what he did, drop his arms down and the baby drowned from that. Because if he holding the baby in his arm, how far out is the baby from the water? Like her head from the water. And then he said the baby head flipped over. That what woke him up. But my thing is, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. You should have had that baby out there in no hot tub. You should have let them stay in there with their mom, or you should have put them to sleep before you got in the hot tub. Because 3 o'clock in the morning, you should have had your tail in the bed anyway. But you can't tell nobody how to live their life and what to do. But now you in cause this, and these people is not going to be lenient with you because of what you did, how you did it with the alcohol and whatever else you took. And then you took a life away. Even though it's your child, the mom got to grieve, the grandparents got to grieve, your family. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is an senseless death because you could have did anything to prevent this, but you didn't. You went another route. Now look what you had done. Like my mom tell me all the time, trouble is easy to get in, but it sure is hard as hell to get out of. Now look, that's all I got.
The other thing is too, the story is a little messy. Cause I thought in the news clipping they said they found her, they had to get out the water. I don't know, whatever. But then, he's saying the baby was still in his arms, but he didn't tell the mother initially that they was in the hot tub. It's a hot stinking mess. In most hot tubs, when you sit down, the water comes up to your neck. That's what Monique is saying. Yeah, something ain't right, Fifi. Something ain't right. I don't know. Something he's not giving in this story. And then we don't know what he took. So he was high out of his mind. He took that baby in that thing with him. And now, unfortunately, the baby's gone. It's very sad. I'll stay connected to this story, but they gave him no bond. So this is serious for him. And the mother talking about, God bless his mother, talking about, we just want him home. Mommy, he's not coming home. Y'all need to get him a lawyer and get down to Florida. I don't know, do what you got to do. But he ain't coming home, honey. And probably not going to be able to attend his own daughter's funeral. And I'm going to go ahead and roll into the next story. This PA fraud manhunt. This is crazy too, but people are sick. You got to watch your own family members and who coming to stay with you. Let's take a listen. Hold on.
In hiding somewhere, but the last time I seen her, she walked up the street carrying a can of beer.
A couple from Washington County are on the run after police say they were living with their dead relative for months. Police say the two apparently left their loved one's body in their home to decompose while they continued collecting his Social Security benefits.
Erica Stanish has more from Canton Township on how the man was discovered.
The Green Washington Regional Police Chief William D. Ford says in his 3 decades of law enforcement, he has never witnessed something so horrific in his career. Now his department is actively searching for the suspects believed to be responsible.
The smell was so pungent that you could smell it outside of the home prior to entry.
It was on January 16th of this year when Green Washington Regional Police Chief William D. Ford tells KDKA his officers got a call for a welfare check. He says James Bebout called authorities after finding his brother, quote, stiff as a board in his bed.
And that defendant had contacted us and stated that he was serving breakfast to the decedent when he noticed he was cold.
But when officers arrived, they quickly realized something was very wrong.
But instead of finding the decedent that would have passed away within the last 24 hours, we found the decedent in a state of severe decomposition.
D. Ford says James Bebout and his wife Debbie were living in the home with his brother Michael Bebout, who owned the home, and believes the two were reaping the benefits after his passing.
What we found throughout the investigation was roughly a half a dozen Social Security checks, that were cached by the defendants.
Investigators say Michael Bebout died months prior to getting a call to the home and say the couple deposited thousands of dollars from Michael's Social Security account, paying for food, gasoline, and heating oil. Neighbors described James and Debbie Bebout as bad news and said they knew something was wrong when it began to smell outside.
We smelled an awful smell. We called the gas company thinking it was a gas leak. Here, it wasn't a gas leak. It was him. They always had a window cracked. So to let the smell out, apparently.
DeFort says in addition to finding the skeletal remains of Michael Bebout, several other dead animals were found severely decomposed inside the home.
To have something like this happen in society today is an absolute violation of the human construct. This is both morally and ethically reprehensible.
Arrest warrants have been issued for James and Debbie Bebout. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is asked to call 911. Reporting in Canton Township, Washington.
Julius, your thoughts?
Them two people demonic. And I'm not even a believer in hell. But them two people are demonic. What kind of stupid? You didn't eat. Just demonic. All for greed. Demonic. I just really have no words. I truly don't.
I appreciate you. Savannah, your thoughts?
You know, this is a failure of the other family members that were around and knew that these people were problematic or toxic or whatever they had, because it didn't state what the relationship was to the man that was deceased in the home. Were they
It was
children?
It was another one of the brothers. So
it was his.
It was his brother. Mm-hmm.
And who was the woman walking around with a beer?
That was the wife, the brother's wife, not the dead person's
so the brother
wife.
Had been taking the deceased's money and disability services for months.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure that other family members knew that these two were no good. And if they haven't heard from the deceased in a while, because he's been there since January, or this story was found in January, they should have checked on him. I'm just having a hard time believing why other family members didn't check in on him. If they didn't do a welfare check, just like the story we had yesterday, where the young man who had no kin, no blood relationship to the customer just knew that I have not seen him in weeks. Let me go check in on him.
Right.
So it's just baffling how other family members didn't go in and check on this senior, I'm assuming senior person, and then knew that these two problematic family members were around, and probably knew that they had vices and bad habits and probably were scammers. I mean, this is on the other family, and I can't even put it as much as social services, although they should have did their due diligence as well. But this is on the other family who weren't there, who weren't that village for this person that's deceased, because it wasn't just him. There's animals there. I can't even imagine the smell and the chaos that's in that house. It's horrific. It's sad. We don't get to pick our family that we're born into them. But we damn sure can protect ourselves from anyone who isn't there for our just good.
Yeah. Thank you, Savannah. 48.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the family should have been involved, but I'm gonna lean more to blaming social services, because you said he receives SSI, right? Or is he
No.
receiving a disability?
No. He was receiving his probably retirement Social Security checks.
Okay, well that's different then. Well, in that case, I think then there should be more laws, I guess, to help protect the elderly. Like Savannah said, more welfare checks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really sad, and it seemed like he reached out to help his brother and his wife or whoever she is with him. So may he rest in peace now and get some dignity and all of that. But I hope they find him and they lock them up, and they don't need to be out no more. Let them rot in there.
Let them rot in there, like they was letting their family member rot in the house. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Disgusting that a brother will allow his other brother
Mm,
to sit there and decompose with the animals.
mm.
This is sick on another level. I really do hate it when these people get up here, and I'm pretty sure, I bet you the other family members is doing a GoFundMe, and I wouldn't give them a dime. Because what were y'all when your other brother needed you? I'm pretty sure that everybody in this family, if the neighbors knew that they wasn't no good, everybody in the family knew they wasn't no good.
Mm.
And this man allowed his brother and his trifling wife to come stay with him in his house, because they said it was his house. Come stay with him in his house. And this is what you do.
Mm.
Disgusting. And I wish they quit saying they can't find them, because they using if they depositing checks and y'all can see where they paying for gas and all that, then you can track them. So quit saying you can't find them, and get on the ball and get these two off the street before somebody else be unalived.
Katrina?
Okay. My thing is, this is the reason why, having everything being, wired into your account, if for convenience. But if
Mm-hmm.
this man was still receiving his checks in the mail, they had to go in there and make and cash them. They couldn't do that, so I'm quite sure that he was receiving a direct deposit.
He
So it's
was
supposed to
not.
be.
They said directly in the news that they found the cash, that they cashed those checks.
Oh, so they did cash the check. So
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I mean, do they look alike? Because who's cashing his check? Because you got to have your ID and stuff like that. So do the brothers look alike? The reason why you cash
but
the check, or did they know
when
somebody?
they said the word cash, you could literally put in somebody else's check in your account, and then it's not the way things are now. You
Yeah, that's the
I have
problem, Diva.
your check, Katrina, put in my account, and they're gonna clear it.
And that's sad.
And it's
And yeah, and then these people, then you are they on drugs? Because a deposing body is the worst scent that you could ever smell, and they living in the house, so they had to be on drugs or something. Because how in the heck you breathing those fumes into yourself? Because it's toxic and it's crazy. Why do that? If you gonna do that, you could have just went on and buried your brother. You could have just did that and still continue getting his checks. Y'all let that man stay in their house with some animals or whatsoever. Ain't no way you can tell me they ain't on no drugs or some type of substance. Because this is sick, sick, sick. How in the heck? I'm still stuck on how in the heck you stayed your tail in that house, smelling that smell. This is so sad. And hopefully they find them wherever they at and arrest them. And as 48 said, let them rot in jail. Cause this is sick. This is so sick. These people in this world today, you don't know which way they're gonna turn. It's just crazy because this man that y'all came and stayed in his house, and this is what you did. This is how you return my favor. Yeah, they need to be found. Cause like I said, this is ridiculous and sick. Ain't no way that I can stay in no house smelling nobody like that. That's just crazy. But that's all I got, Diva.
Whew. I'm gonna roll right into the last story, and the last story is pretty sad. There were actual doctors who were supplying Matthew Perry, the actor, may he continue to rest in peace, with the fentanyl that he took and he eventually OD'd on. I think all of these people should have got life in prison, but the latest doctor, the first one got 30 months, and the latest one, he got home confinement. Wait, I want to go here.
Convicted in the overdose death of Matthew Perry learned his sentence earlier today.
55-year-old Mark Chavez will not be going to prison, but he will spend 8 months under house arrest. He spoke outside of court following the sentencing. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Grande is live in downtown LA with the details. Carlos.
Well, that's right. Mark Chavez pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute ketamine, knowing that it would be sold outside of legitimate medical use. And authorities say that ketamine eventually found its way to Matthew Perry just weeks before his death.
My heart goes out to the Perry family.
Mark Chavez speaking outside federal court after a judge sentenced him to 8 months of home confinement, 3 years of supervised probation, and 300 hours of community service.
We believe that this is a fair and just outcome for this case.
Chavez pleaded guilty to conspiracy, admitting he illegally sold ketamine to Dr. Salvador Plasencia. Prosecutors say Plasencia then supplied the drug to Matthew Perry. Plasencia received 30 months in federal prison, and the judge asked, why should Chavez receive a lesser sentence?
Mark, unlike Mr. Plasencia, accepted responsibility early. He cooperated with the government.
Perry was found unresponsive in a hot tub at his home in October of 2023. The cause of death, an accident caused by the effects of ketamine combined with drowning. The judge said Chavez did not provide the specific dose that caused Perry's death.
We appreciate that the government and the court both were able to identify that there were major distinctions between Mark's role in this case and all of his other co-defendants.
His attorneys say Chavez had been an emergency room physician for 20 years and helped many people. This was his one huge mistake.
What occurred in this case was a profound departure from the life that he had lived up to that point. The consequences have been severe and permanent.
I want to thank my parents, Michael and Barbara Chavez, who have supported me, not just through this, but without them, I wouldn't have been able to do any of the things that Zach just talked about.
And 3 other defendants are scheduled to be sentenced in January and in February. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Carlos Grande, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, so hold on one second. The second doctor learns his fate for the role in Matthew Perry's OD death as his humble new career is revealed. A disgraced ex-doctor got a wrist slap sentence Tuesday for his role in the Friends star Matthew Perry's overdose death. As his lawyers pleaded for leniency, saying he's been forced to drive for Uber after giving up his medical license. Mark Chavez, 55, was hit with 8 months of home confinement by Los Angeles federal judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett after he admitted in October to supplying 22 vials and 9 lozenges of powerful medical anesthesia ketamine to the actor, despite knowing his struggles with drug addiction. The judge also sentenced Chavez to 300 hours of community service and 3 years of supervised release. Before Garnett handed down the sentence, Chavez made a brief statement saying he recently lost someone close to him and could relate to the pain Perry's family endured after his death. I just want to say my heart goes out to the Perry family, Chavez said. Prosecutors agreed to the lenient sentence as Chavez took responsibility for his actions early on in the probe. And since he cooperated with the feds, prosecutors wrote in court papers earlier this month. Chavez, a San Diego doctor who gave up his medical license after he was implicated in Perry's death, did not supply the actor with the batch of ketamine that ultimately killed him. A sentence of home confinement with further sanction, defended and require him to reflect on his callous profit-seeking, violated the trust of patients, and cost him not only his license, but his liberty, the feds wrote on December the 3rd. Meanwhile, Chavez's lawyers wrote in their own papers earlier this month that the former doctor should get time served since he's already lost his medical license, his reputation, and has since been forced to make a meager living as an Uber driver. He now supports himself through rideshare driving, earns modest income, and has no remaining assets after the loss of his career, his reputation, and his financial stability, defense attorneys wrote in papers from December 3rd. Although Mr. Chavez accepts full responsibility for his actions, the record independently establishes that he never met Matthew Perry, never entered his residence, never administered medication to him, and did not supply the ketamine that caused his death, the defense team continued. In the weeks before Perry's tragic October 28, 2023 death, Chavez sourced the drugs for pal Dr. Salvador Placentia, who once asked Chavez of Perry in a text, how much this moron will pay. Placentia, 43, was sentenced earlier this month to 2.5 years for his role in Perry's overdose. Told Chavez on September 30th, 2023, that he had a famous patient who offered to pay a premium for vials of the drugs, prosecutors wrote. Chavez, who used to run a ketamine clinic for off-label depression treatment, got his buddy doctor the drugs and on three occasions, despite knowing Placenta was giving Perry the drugs in a risky way, including outside a medical facility without proper observation and giving the actor dangerous amounts of drugs that once caused him to have a bad reaction. Placentia told Chavez how he once injected Perry in the back seat of a car parked at a public parking lot of an aquarium in Long Beach, California. And Chavez reprimanded Placenta for dosing him in public place where kids were, prosecutors wrote. Still, Chavez gave Placenta batches of the drugs on September 30th, October 4th, and October 10th, including by telling distributors he was getting the drugs for Dreamscape Ketamine, a company he stopped working at in July 2023, prosecutors claim. Placenta told Chavez it was like a bad movie the first time he went to Perry's home and injected him with the drug, court papers allege. Just a few days later, on October the 2nd, 2023, Placenta asked Chavez to get him more vials, telling a friend, if today goes well, we may have repeat business. Let's do everything we can to make that happen, prosecutors claim. But after the third time sourcing the drugs for Perry, Chavez found out the California Medical Board and law enforcement were investigating him for improperly getting drugs through his old clinic. He didn't get any more ketamine for Placenta. 3 others have also been charged, taking guilty pleas in the case, and are set to be sentenced in January and February. Ketamine queen drug dealer Jasmine, 42, admitted to supplying Perry with the dose of ketamine that killed him. Perry's pal, Eric Fleming, who connected the actor with her 2 weeks before he died, is also awaiting sentencing. And Kenneth, Perry's assistant, will also be sentenced after he injected the actor with the drugs. From 1994 to 2004, Perry played the iconic role of Chandler Bling on the NBC mega hit sitcom, starring alongside Jennifer Anderson, Courtney Cox, Lisa, Matthew LeBlanc, and David for 10 seasons. Perry had well-known drug and alcohol addiction problems that began after he shot to fame. With post wires, it said, okay. Very sad story, very sad situation. I still think this doctor got off lightly. Julius, your thoughts?
He for sure got off lightly. A slap on the wrist, home confinement. And I'm about to go there with the next part of my commentary. If he looked like any one of us, where would we be right now? I don't need to say more from that point. Yes, Matthew Perry had his issues and he was a fantastic actor. I remember his role of Chandler from Friends fondly. But these, how do I say this diplomatically? A-holes took advantage of him in his desperation. They knew he had issues, and they took advantage of him, wanted more of his money. And when he first became unalived, it just didn't make sense because his substance abuse, it was like old news, like it was public knowledge. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And and I'm glad to hear that his assistant is being sentenced because something wasn't right with that person. And I feel like he should have got more time because if it was any one of us,
Thank you, Julia. Savannah, your thoughts?
I struggle to understand our justice system with these stories where wrong is right and right is just thrown out the window. Uh,
Mm.
I, I'm just wondering how this, and he said a shout out speech like he just won an award. I want to thank my mom and dad for supporting me. I mean, sir, you're a pusher.
That part.
I don't, I just, and in light of the tragedy of Rob Reiner passing this weekend at the hands of his son, I was having this conversation earlier today and with some of my girlfriends about we saw a interview with Rob and Nick Reiner where Nick had they interviewed him in 2016, and it was in regards to the movie that they made together, Being Charlie. And Nick and Rob were talking about that at that time in 2016. He was just in his young 20s, 24. He had been in rehab 18 times. And 18 times at the age of 24 already in rehab and all types of programs and detox and just things that were that he was exhausted from as he said. So we got into the discussion about Matthew Perry. I remember during my time growing up in college there was a young actor, Diva, you might have remember him, River Phoenix.
I
And
do.
River had he had also OD'd Young Hollywood. Also, if you can recall, Robert Downey Jr., how much of a mess he was when he was young. And he had all these vices and he was in and out of rehab and bad behavior. But the most famous of all, who started at the young age of around 8 or 9, was Drew Barrymore. Do you remember when Drew was also battling these addictions? And so the point of my story is that these pushers are around Hollywood. They're more and more slick, and they know exactly who to target. And it's not just one of them. There's a whole caravan of them. They get to the actors, EAs, and bodyguard personnel, and they know how to get these substances in the hands of famous actors. And once they have them hooked, then they know that they rely on this instant high. They're going to need it, especially with people like Robert Downey Jr. and Matthew Perry, because they were at the peak of their career. And I mean, just look how much of a mess Charlie Sheen is, and how
Mm.
much he was celebrated, and all these pushers were around him. So I don't understand how he just got community service, a slap on the wrist. He still has those connections. He still has those phone numbers. He knows how to get people to certain things, whether it's narcotics or pills or powders, whatever. He knows how to connect them. So he just got scot, in my opinion, he got off scot free, able to
Mhm.
do what he was gonna be, what he's been doing, continuing to do, and I don't understand this justice system. I really don't. And the other ones in February, I expect them to get a light sentence just like this former doctor did.
Now, who I don't think is going to get a light sentence is the assistant who injected him. And the other doctor getting 2.5 years. That's nothing either. And I think as doctors, they should have definitely got more because you take an oath. And he wants to tell us about losing his license. He's an Uber driver. I wouldn't give a darn if you had to scrape the dirt off the street to survive. Like, give me a break. You kept giving this man and joking about an actual human being being addicted, and they wanted to tell us about his ER career. He's trash. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree, Diva. When he said that he didn't, this is his first time. I'm like, come on, man. In the actual comment, his partner hit him up and said, "Man, I got a celebrity client, and he's willing to pay premium." So you got hood prices, middle class prices, and rich prices. They got off too easy for me. I hope the actor's family is like trying to do whatever they can to uproot his life, make his life miserable. Like, I cannot believe that they gave that dude probation. Like, he's not in jail at all. And you have kids that are in prison for selling little bitty bags of weed.
You ain't lying. That's a fact.
Yeah, so I don't, while California is a mess.
Thank you, 48. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think it's outrageous and it's stupid. Um, these doctors knew what they were doing. They definitely knew what they were doing. And for him saying that he didn't know where it was going, you knew where it was going because you said it in your text messages that y'all was gonna hit it big. My thing is, you already know as a doctor what ketamine can do. And y'all said in your statement that you had to tell him not to do this in public. So why would you continue to keep supplying this person that you know is doing this in unsafe places and giving up extra doses? And the level of no accountability that is being had is ridiculous because these are medical professionals. We're not talking about the assistant that don't know what he's doing. He just following whatever the rule they tell him. We talking about actual doctors that know what degree this is going to affect somebody's body. Or y'all sitting here passing it out like this candy. Give me a break, okay? You know what? And what is he gonna do while he's on home confinement for 8 months? If he's so broke that he had to do Uber driving, how's he gonna take care of himself in home confinement? Y'all might as well lock him up for them 8 months. It still be a slap on the wrist, but at least he would be held accountable. You know what? I'm so tired of all of this because, in other words, you know what they saying? Matthew Perry's life didn't matter.
Thank you, in my opinion. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, dude, that little weasel got away scot free. That's one thing. Okay. You the doctor. You the one got the ball rolling. You the one that was supplying from the get go. They ordering from you, and that's the thing with these doctors. I'm thinking to myself, like, how many people he prescribed pain medicine in the emergency room? And like I said, these doctors are the number one drug dealers. They are, because they give these people these substances, and they get hooked. And then when they get hooked, they don't want to have nothing to do with them or tell them to do this and do that. But you're the reason why this person got hooked. Not saying that he making these people put this stuff in their mouth, but most of these doctors know when they give it over prescribing people. And it's sad, and they still do it. And he did it for the money. He didn't care, like MIP said, about the people lives or whatsoever. Because normally ketamine is used for it's a horse tranquilizer. But this is so sick on so many levels, and he walking free. No, in my opinion, that's where his money. His money's at home. He got it in the safe somewhere. Ain't no way this man going. Ain't no way he broke. He trying to use that Uber as an excuse. He probably even driving an Uber. Probably drove one time. But his little weasel looking ass, he ain't no way that he ain't got rid of all that money that people was giving him. He got that money in the house in the safe somewhere because I'm quite sure he pulled it out the bank. I'm quite sure he did that. But the thing of it is, they need to have him. He need to be locked up right alongside them because you was the one that started it. You started it. You the one that was distributing it to them, and you get scot free. And when we was in Diddy case, not to bring it up, but they were saying that passing the aspirin was distributing drugs. So
Talk
this man,
about it.
you know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah.
distributing ketamine. So come on now, and y'all got him. You got him free when he was the one that started it. This is crazy. This is crazy. I think I'm with Julius too. Maybe if he had the other kind of skin color, he when we're not talking about this, people we're not racist, we ain't that. But he got the other kind of skin color, he'll be locked up as well because they was looking for people that cause people to have overdoses. No, he didn't deliver the fatal dose, but you delivered the drugs, and they did it. So you was an accessory, and you need to be locked up right along everybody else. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. Yeah, this is a whole hot, stinking, nasty mess. And the more y'all talk, the more angry I'm getting because you are reminding me of everything. Like 48 said, there are young kids in the jail right now for doing much less. Like you said, you know, in the Diddy case, he got 50 months. And for everybody, all his victims or alleged victims testified in the court. And you got this one right here where your victim is dead and you get to do home confinement. And out of all people that know about drugs is you, the doctor. And it made me sick to my stomach talking about how he was an emergency room doctor. Who God only knows what you did in that ER. If you was so willing to help your friend get ketamine for some illegal reasons, and they acted like he was a superhero. Oh, I can't believe you stuck him in around kids, sir. And who said it? He giving a speech like he won an award. I want to thank my mother and father who stood by me and this, that, and the other. Stop it. You're
Isn't
disgrace.
Matthew Perry? Isn't his dad, his stepdad? What's his name? He works for NBC. His stepfather, the one that with the little long chin. I can't think of his name right now, but that's his stepfather, and that's why somebody had said they need to take it to the news. His stepfather is the news. I can't think of it. It's Hanson, not Hanson, but anyway, he looked like remind me of Ronald McDonald. But that's his stepfather, and like I said, he's a big time man with NBC. And as you said, Diva, people probably was coming to the ER, and they was paying him for prescriptions. Cause his little weasel looking ass, he sitting around there doing all this stuff and he getting away with it. And it's not right.
He's shady. He's shady. He's shady. I don't give a darn. He driving Uber, and I wouldn't take no Uber with him driving it. I wouldn't take the Uber. Listen, anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all coming through. We did it again. Okay, we got this thing done in 60 minutes. Listen, I'm going to stay connected to this father with the toddler in the hot tub. Something in the story ain't right. Because when he brought the daughter back in the room with the mother and the other child, he never told the mother that he was in a hot tub. And they got there and poor little mama was foaming at the mouth, and an hour later she died in the hospital. But he's really responsible because he was under the influence. And I want to say that they tell you don't go swimming when you under the influence, let alone going to sit in somebody's hot tub. And then the hour he went to sit in that hot tub, I don't know. I'm not feeling right about this. But I'm going to stay connected to the story. This family that let their family member rot in the house so they could steal the money, shame. Shame. Another couple, when they catch them, they need to lock them up and keep them there. Did she get I mean, but I'm going to say no. The only reason why I'm going to say no, I'm 50 Gold, is because I want to say they said they did the autopsy and it was consistent with drowning. I thought they said that. I might be mixing up stories now. I'm going to have to go back to it. And then this Matthew Perry case, I will stay connected to see what these other people, get sentenced to. But I have a really big feeling that the guy who actually injected him, the assistant, he in real big trouble. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo choo.
Mm-hmm.